Right. And if you're tuning in for the first time, so we're a podcast, we're a community, and we're also a learning forum. So we focus on innovation, success, and wellness, like all the things that makes you successful and thrive in life. So we go really deep, and we're not scared of really any subject. And what we want to do is inspire you and also ourselves to be the best version that we can. We've interviewed really cool, amazing ladies this season, from DJ Linda to Christina, who practices Psyche, to a crypto lawyer. Also, we have ladies in AI and beauty, but also what made them successful and what was their mindset. So we really go into like how people talk to themselves, what kind of grounding techniques they have to stay connected with themselves, and just to be sane in this crazy world.
The Anyas podcast is to inspire you and other women to reach new business heights. We are showing the human side to business and breaking the myth of overnight success. The Anyas encourages breaking barriers, fostering collaboration, and daring to dream big.
The community acts as a catalyst for personal and professional growth, providing a space where women thrive, innovate, and come to celebrate their achievements together.
Step into this inspiring new world with us and unlock limitless potential. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode with the Anyas podcast. We are so excited to kick off 2025 with you. I'm Lindsay Jew. I'm joined today by my co-host, Monika, and just want to thank all of you for joining in this special episode. And let's get going, y'all. Yeehaw!
Yeah, a little bit of a cowgirl there, Lindsay. How are you?
Yeah. Good. I am good. I'm happy to be kicking off in a bull run. That always brings a smile to my face, a crypto bull run. Market is up for all of those that are unfamiliar with what's going on in crypto, over the 100K mark, which I'm not sure. We didn't know when it was going to happen, but it finally hit. And we're going to be talking a bit more about smart tech, possibly even intelligent tech, and a little bit about some of the episodes we have coming up this season. There are spiritual journeys, discussions around collective consciousness, and there are artists, a DJ we spoke with. And it's just been a lot going on during the break. Even though you didn't see us necessarily, we were working here in the background. We're just going to introduce the Anyas to you again. Make sure that you all didn't forget about us. Reflections on our achievements and, of course, goals in 2025 and what we're excited about this year.
Right. And if you're tuning in for the first time, so we're a podcast, we're a community, and we're also a learning forum. So we focus on innovation, success, and wellness, like all the things that makes you successful and thrive in life. So we go really deep, and we're not scared of really any subject. And what we want to do is inspire you and also ourselves to be the best version that we can. We've interviewed really cool, amazing ladies this season, from DJ Linda to Christina, who practices Psyche, to a crypto lawyer. Also, we have ladies in AI and beauty, in many different subjects that are real experts, but also like what made them successful and what was their mindset. So we really go into like how people talk to themselves, what kind of grounding techniques they have to stay connected with themselves, and just to be sane in this crazy world. So
Yeah. I feel lucky that we've had these conversations. I mean, these would have been some of my favorite lunches if they had been lunch dates or brunch dates. And it really highlights our values here at the Anyas, which is to inspire, collaborate, and innovate. So a little bit more on that. We really, in order to inspire, we want to help bridge the gap between their aspirations and their reality by providing education, support, resources, just to fuel that whole journey into female founderhood. Also, with collaboration, we want to foster a collaborative environment where women come together, inspire, support, and uplift one another. I mean, we There are some negative things that can happen when you get people who are competing, but here we're focused on the positive and just supporting one another to, and the belief that it's not about a pie and each person gets their own slice. It's really about how
everyone has a pie.
Yes. And the more energy we add collectively to that, the more energy we have individually.
Oh, and also do join our community calls where you can connect with other ladies. So this is a great way to basically start a collaboration, perhaps.
Exactly. So if you're looking for more like-minded individuals. For innovation, we do embrace that leading edge futurist mindset. We focus on those that are pioneering in their field. That could be Web3, AI, or that could be very interesting areas in wellness as well, or beauty. And these women are in their entrepreneurial journeys just with a forward-thinking approach. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's transition over to talking about this coming year, 2025. It already feels pivotal with everything that has been happening leading up to 2025 in November and December. The bull market, which we touched on, and it is in full swing. Of course, that has been influenced by the presidential election and Musk's involvement, but it's also been some of the slow burns that have happened too with just, I think that some quiet things happened and it's finally starting to snowball now. So yes, maybe there was sort of that final kernel of rice that tipped the scales with the election. But I do feel that with crypto making some gains and bringing together bipartisanship to pass laws and where people can have more ownership within crypto, it's that has really given the bull run a lot more power and why we're seeing things explode now.
Yeah, and it's also that time in the cycle. So if you're not familiar with the crypto cycles, they usually are 4 years. And that's because the issuance model of Bitcoin, there's something called the halving. And after Bitcoin's issuance halves, it usually propels the bull market about 300 days after. And this is you can kind of see the top of the bull market between 300 to 500 days afterwards. Of course, we don't know if that's going to keep happening, but that's what has happened the last 15 years. So, chances are it's going to be the same now. And we are just heading into this bull market year. So, of course, everyone's more excited than the last 2 years.
Yes, they would agree. I think they are not just those have been in it previously like us, but also people that are still new to crypto are just seeing it more and more in the headlines, and it's difficult to ignore.
And it's absolutely evolving, from the last few years where it was maybe more about trading and NFTs, and now we're going to see what's coming next. It seems to be that AI is kind of merging a little bit with crypto. So that's really one topic that I'm excited about is that, we're starting to see something called AI agents in crypto, meaning that they can trade, they can do auditing. You can even interact with some of these AI agents on Twitter. One is called AI XBT, and you can ask it for advice and it will reply to you. It even has its own tokens. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year. And some are predicting that even 80% of all the transactions on these blockchains are going to be made by AI agents, basically.
Interesting. And I think that the headlines promote a lot of doom and gloom. So I went back and I listened to a podcast by one of the early founders of AI, which is Danny Hillis. And he did an interview with Tim Ferriss. And I thought it was really interesting because he compared this fear with people's fear and discussion that they didn't want a phone in their pocket. That would just be awful, having a phone in my pocket. And then people automatically think of all of the things that could go wrong with having a phone in your pocket. People calling you in the middle of the night, getting unknown calls. And certainly, yes, that does happen. But wow, the amazing plethora of things that open up for you when you have not just, this isn't just a phone anymore. I think most people use it for much more. The phone is just like a thimble's worth of what you can get out of your smart device. And so I really feel with artificial intelligence, and some of that could just be smart tech, not necessarily even true AI, but it's really going to unlock pathways that people didn't even imagine. And so rather than just thinking about all of the perils behind it, it's interesting to talk to people who were on the forefront and thinking about all the doors and avenues that it could open up that are just perhaps unthinkable to the masses. I would just emphasize that there's a world of possibilities there. I'm still, for me personally, I am for some regulation behind it. I do feel like some things do need to have some rules and regulations in place, but where that happens too, I do feel that it should be in benefit of the consumer, not necessarily a benefit behind always like these big companies, which unfortunately I do feel like a lot of regulation is behind the company rather than the consumer.
Yeah, I just want to comment on what you said about fear. And I think it's almost like ingrained in humans that if it's something you don't really understand or know, like basically the unknown, everybody is a bit scared, and maybe for good reason, because something bad can happen. So you have to be smart about things. And like you're saying with regulation, we do need, like, there's a kind of a middle ground. Like you don't want too much regulation because that stalls innovation, but you need some to protect like copyright laws. And so these big corporations don't take advantage of us and make profiles about us, and which they do. There are some AI companies that are decentralized and really promote privacy. I know Venice AI, I've used that a bit. But yeah, I'm also seeing it as a tool to help me excel. And we've been using it in the Anyas quite a lot, just for helping to do tutorials and doing some editing, preparing things. When I search, I search with Perplexity AI. So that's been a big shift from always using Google. Now I mainly just use Perplexity. And Midjourney, of course, for some of our images and marketing materials. So, it's a part of life more and more. And I think that's definitely not going away anytime soon. So there's a balance, right? To use it as a tool to help you do things faster, but not to be too reliant on it, right? There always has to be a person behind it. You still have to check like all the images that it gives the right like editorial aesthetic. And for text, of course, if you just let the AI do the whole text, you might hallucinate or give some mistakes. There's almost like, you can think of it as almost being a cyborg, right? It's your text, but then maybe the AI can enhance it or, help you to add certain points. But you still have to go through it and read it. So it's not like the AI is doing everything and it's going to replace all human jobs. It's just going to be humans that use AI that's going to replace maybe other humans that don't use it.
Yeah, it is. I have found it to be a time saver, like you say, Monika. So it's interesting to see how much it can evolve even in this next 12 months in 2025. But I think that we're right to be embracing it rather than fearing it. What are some of your goals as you look out into the next year?
Oh my goodness, goals. Yeah. Wow. I love New Year's because it's like a reset. You can kind of fresh start, right? Well, okay. First, I have these, very tangible goals, such as picking up Portuguese again. So somewhere during the year, I just stopped taking classes but I'm getting back into that. Yeah. And then I just want to pick up some more sport. Like I want to start paddle. First, when I moved to Lisbon, I did a few games and it was very fun. Getting more healthy in that way, more sporty. And what else? Yeah, making more money. So money is a big goal this year, but also being more authentic. So I want to focus on speaking my truth and not being too scared to offend people. Of course, I'm never rude to anyone and that's not what I mean, but just saying
Radical
what I
candor?
mean. Just saying what I mean, basically. How about you, Lindsay? What are you
Oh, I
thinking
think it
about
was
in
great.
2025?
I think it's great you mentioned language learning with Portuguese. I, over the years, have made many attempts at language learning, but I do find that it provides such a different perspective when you're learning another language. And I don't think that's going to be a top goal for me personally, but I do love watching my 3-year-old learn language and how she picks things up, how she repeats, how she just unabashedly makes mistakes and just keeps on singing.
Oh, that's
So,
so lovely. That's so
yeah.
nice. Yeah. That's an
So,
inspiration. Like looking at your kids and seeing like, what does that bring out in you? Like to be so playful and not care, right? That's so nice.
yeah, so that's what I'm taking away as I go into my Norwegian learning this year, is to just be more playful with it and know that each mistake I learn is actually helping me learn, because it's cementing into my memory more when I'm making those mistakes and being corrected. But let's see, goals. I would like to, I've been getting this message repeatedly in different ways from different people over the last few weeks, is just, we're all one people. Recently I was at dinner and someone said, we're all just Homo sapiens here on Earth, because there has been a lot of division, I think, especially if you're somebody who voted in the US election. It seems to be all these talks on red or blue. And yeah. And while that does have a place, now that the presidential election is completed and we're about, on the edge of the inauguration, I think it's time to just focus on one Earth. So when people talk about seeing that image of the Earth floating there in space, I mean, that I think does something to your mentality when you're going through your day thinking you versus them. Oh, they didn't let me into the line of traffic and they cut me off. Just go back to, and take a deep breath, try and envision that image of the Earth floating there and see if that does anything for your brain and your cortisol levels. And I'm talking to myself here, that's something that I should be doing when I have raised cortisol levels in traffic or whatever it may be. I also want to listen in ways beyond just the literal. This is something that I think I did a lot of because I had to in order to survive when I was in Korea. But there is that concept of nunchi in Korea. And because my Korean was
What's that?
Yes, because my Korean was so non-existent, I had to focus on all of the other things besides the literal words that were coming out of people's mouths. I would focus on the facial expressions, the body language, the tension within the room, to really understand what was being communicated and what points, what persuasions, how things worked. And quite frankly, some of the time that was more valuable than the exact words that were being spoken. So that's how I would describe nunchi, is all of the other elements that are taking place besides the actual words. I mean, if you try and exactly translate it, you'll have trouble, because some people say atmosphere, environment, the synergy, but I really feel that it is, it's difficult to encompass in just one word, nunchi.
Right. And I think people do that like, without thinking about it, because like the energy you give out, people pick up on it. Maybe it's subtle, but it's there. It's there. So just dialing that up is quite important. But yeah, it's like something you can't hide either, right? It's like, that's what I mean when I say like, I want to be more authentic, because yeah, if you try to please people or just be nice to be nice, sometimes it just doesn't really work out. It's better just to be honest.
Right.
What else are you thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I wanted to add is that in 2024 I lost my father, and that was awakening at the same time. Yes, it was one door closing with my father's death, but it was also an awakening to things that matter. the preciousness of time and the preciousness of our connections. I know that, so my father, he was diagnosed with cancer, and while I knew on a literal level that the clock was ticking, you didn't necessarily know when the clock was going to run out. And there were some emotions that I faced before his passing about righting wrongs, I guess is the best way to put it. And I'm glad that I didn't spend too much energy there in righting wrongs, because once my father did pass, that all of those quote unquote wrongs just dissolved for me. I mean, because they were just, they didn't matter in the grand scheme of things and what my father meant to me or who he was or our relationship. And it's so interesting because I could have dreams about reliving some of the arguments we had, and it was, it was just a real awakening to realize that so much of that was just emotion, me wanting to be right about things. And it didn't actually change anything if I was right about, or if I was wrong. It didn't, those particular arguments that we had, or that I might have been dwelling on some. So that is part of my goal then, is to just think, should I be putting energy into this? Is this something that really matters? Or is this just something that would just dissolve and it doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong here? So
focusing on things that matter. I like that. Yeah, I also lost my dad a few years ago. So, I mean, it's so painful. It really is. And I guess it's something everyone goes through with their parents. It's part of life, but it is a hard part of life. And I have the same feeling when you say about those arguments and things. It just seems like such a waste of time. So now going forward with my mom, I'm like, I don't want to argue. Let's just move past this, because at the end of the day, when it's her time, I know I'm going to regret all of those. So now I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. Let's just be friends. We can disagree on things, but argue, I'm not into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, not going to put energy into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to take a deep breath there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are some big goals for both of us, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess just rounding up, it also depends a little bit what you believe. If you have a faith that something going to happen after life. And I got to say, after my dad passed away, that became a lot stronger for me, because I actually saw him after he passed away, like in my mind's eye, when my mom and I was talking about him, and we were just talking about all the great things about him. And I just saw him in my mind's eye, just smiling. And so I know he's out there somewhere in a different dimension, or in heaven, or in, I don't know, somewhere.
Yeah, that sounds like a really powerful experience.
Shall we do reflections for 2024? It was an interesting year, I think. Yeah, lots happened in 2024. That's for sure.
Yeah, so quickly it came to a close. It was a great year for the Anyas. Success of the pod for sure. Recorded a total of 20 episodes, a few thousand downloads from just 20 episodes. So I think that we can congratulate ourselves there from a lot of organic growth. And I mean, the biggest milestone is really the Web3 course. Blockchain and Web3 Pro is what it's called, from beginner to expert. We will be launching that now, and it's just bursting with value and education. Monika, tell the listeners more of what's inside.
I mean, we spent a long time really pouring ourselves into it. Lindsay and I, we've both been in crypto since 2017. We've held many different positions in marketing, business development, investor relations, and media. So over the years, we've gathered all of these insights, and we want to bring that all to you.
So who is the course for?
So the course is for if you're a beginner or somebody that's looking into deepen your knowledge into Web3, maybe to get a job. So if you're in marketing, business development, project manager, or a community manager, you'll be able to expand your knowledge base and basically master blockchain. And we're also going to equip you with the latest tools and insights that you can apply directly into your job and basically boost your career. But it's also for brands and influencers that want to incorporate Web3 into their business, or for anyone that want to find out what Web3 is and make informed decisions. So we have a lot of tutorials that you can follow along, and it's by Lindsay and I. So it's like done in a very fun and chatty way. I'm excited. It took a long time. The last few months been intense, but we've really perfected it, and I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, I think it just has everything that we wish we had when we were first learning and starting our career in crypto in 2017. This doesn't waste any time, but I think that we, when there weren't courses like this available in 2017, we, fell down, scraped our knee a few times, learning crypto, trying to figure it out, going down rabbit holes and white papers that didn't make any sense. But here in this course, it's going to make sense. It's going to be all laid out in a pretty order and package with bullet points and help you retain the information in a light and easy to understand manner.
We'll give you the overview of Web3. You'll learn how to use wallets, what smart contracts are. We'll get into NFTs and creator economy, but also hands-on, like give you Web3 marketing tools that actually give results. Then get into advanced topics like DeFi and deepen and like all the things that matter.
All right, everyone, that is going to bring us to the close of this episode. We encourage you as you listen to this to write some things down that matter to you, whether that be goals, resolutions, if that's what you call them, or things that you want to learn about this year and that are important to you, as well as teach others, because that is a huge part of why the Anyas is here, is because we want to help grow and educate other folks. And I'm sure that you want to do the same. I just can't wait to continue this journey with each and every one of you. Now, don't forget to check out the Web3 course and sign up for the workshop. There are some details in the show notes below. And until next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Like and subscribe to never miss an episode. We've got some fantastic content lined up. Leave us a comment and review to help us grow.
Last but not least, let's connect on social. Follow us on X, the Anyas_IO, and the Anyas.io on Instagram and TikTok for exclusive content. Thanks again for being part of the journey, and see you in the next episode.